Welcome to Unlocking Your Truth, another podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips.
Hello everyone, welcome to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. My name is Dr. Lesley Phillips and I am here in the studio with the show's producer, Corey. Hello, Corey.
Hello.
Hello. Well, last week we did a show that was about being busy. I've been doing some, I guess we could call it research. I'm in the process of creating some digital classes for people to learn how to meditate and develop their intuition. So I thought it would be a great idea to talk to people about what they were struggling with and what they would want to learn. And so over the last couple of weeks, I've been talking to lots and lots of people and finding out what things really bother people, what things are a problem for people. And something that really stood out massively to me was that people said, I cannot calm my mind. I cannot slow down my thoughts. I have such a struggle. My mind is bouncing all over the place. I can't meditate because my mind is too busy. In fact, meditation isn't for me because I'm not that type of person. I'm the type of person who's, likes to constantly be busy and thinking about things. In fact, some of them said, well, I can't meditate because I can't calm my mind down enough to meditate. And I thought, isn't that interesting? Because people weren't realizing, well, actually it is the meditation that will help you calm your mind. Actually, you may not be a person that's naturally meant to have your mind bouncing around all over the place. It actually might not be who you are and who you're meant to be. And the meditation can actually help you find out who you are amidst that noise. And so I really wanted to talk about that this evening, about how to calm your mind. Because I do believe that it is a significant problem. Probably for most people. What do you reckon, Corey?
I think so too.
Yeah.
However, I don't know. I find for myself that when I'm busy, my mind is calm. Believe it or not.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's like a meditation. Like the work I do in the renovations I'm doing right now. I go and 4 hours passes by and it just goes, and I don't think of anything. I even almost don't think of the renos I'm doing. It's sort of like, especially like painting. Painting is one of those things where you could just go and go and go and not have to think.
Well, and that's a good point. And so Corey has a pointer there to one of the things that can help you calm your mind. And that is when you're engaged in a hobby that you are passionate about, that you love. So, for example, for some people, it's doing artwork. And when they are painting or when they are drawing, they are absorbed in the task. For other people, it might be going for a walk in nature. And the reason that it calms the mind down is because you are actually, when you're doing those things, when Corey is renovating, when the artist is painting, what you're doing is you are drawing your focus in to the present moment. All your attention is focusing into the here and now because you are so absorbed in this task that you love, that you are enjoying. You're enjoying your creativity, you're enjoying what you're creating in physical reality, and so your focus is being brought into present time. And that really is the main culprit for having a busy mind. Probably top of the list is not being present. Because, you know, what happens when we are super busy and we have a big long to-do list, and, you know, maybe your day is so busy, you're taking care of yourself, your job, your kids, your partner, your friends, trying to have a social life, bring up a family, you know, and so what will happen is that your mind is constantly moving into the future, possibly moving into the past. And so you lose the focus of the moment, and your energy becomes very scattered and crazy and jumping all over the place. And so if you're somebody who suffers from a busy mind, then learning how to focus your attention in the moment. Now, of course, we can't always be doing a hobby like our artwork or going for a walk. So how do you do it when you're going about your normal business? Well, one of the ways is actually to focus on your physical senses. And the reason is that your physical body, think about this, your physical body is always in the now. It's always in the present moment. So, last time I was aware, we haven't created a time travel yet in our physical bodies. And so the physical body is always right here, right now. And so if you focus on anything that brings your attention into the body, it will bring you into present time, and it will help you calm your mind. And so that's why a lot of meditation teachers will have you focus on the breath, focus on your breathing, because what it does is it focuses your attention on your body, and that will really, amongst other things, bring you into the now and help you calm your mind. And another way of bringing your conscious awareness into present time is just focus on any of your physical senses that belong to your body. So whether it's tuning into the sounds that are happening around you, whether it's just really focusing your vision acutely on what you can see around you, whether it's feeling your clothes against your skin, smelling the smells, tasting the tastes if there's something, so if there's food around, and just really experiencing those 5 physical senses. That will also bring you into present time and help you still your mind, because the senses belong to the body, and again that will pull your attention to the body and pull your attention into present time. And of course, there are also many meditation techniques that will also help you to train your mind and calm your mind. We talk often on the show about grounding, and we also talk about a technique called centering. And centering is fabulous for this, because what it does is it will, number one, focus your attention in present time, because you're focusing your attention in the center of your head. But it will also bring you out of your frontal lobes of your brain. And most of the time, that busy monkey mind, it's all happening in that thinking part of the brain. And so if we can separate ourselves from that and we can become the neutral observer of our thoughts. And if we can become the neutral observer of our thoughts, we can actually start to gain a level of mastery and control over the mind and other aspects of the body. And so centering is a really, really great way to help you calm the mind. Now, one of the things that people were telling me was, well, actually, you know what? I actually know some ways that will help me calm my mind, but I'm too busy to sit still for a second to use them, which is, it's so funny. It's a chicken and egg. And so, people were telling me, really, I lack the discipline. I lack the discipline to put myself first, to put doing a meditation first. And, I'd sort of rather go into a tailspin of my mind racing around. And actually, I'm not too sure what the solution is when you have trouble having a discipline, unless it is to work with a mentor or a teacher, where you set up a regular class or you set up a regular one-on-one session with somebody so that you have at least a weekly reminder to do this. And then after you do that for a while and you start to develop a habit, then hopefully it becomes easier for you to go out there and do it on your own. So what do you think, Corey?
I agree. The buddy system works really well.
Yes, that's a good.
One of the points I wanted to make about clearing your mind is the old Buddhist proverb that you can't fill a full glass because it's already full. You have to empty the glass first if you want to put it in. And it's very true with your mind too. People have things that they've got to resolve. They got problems they got to resolve, and all they do is all this stuff is in their mind, and it's really hard to come up with a solution sometimes when you get all this stuff buzzing around. Once you clear, it's amazing how things just come to you.
Most of the problems that we're dealing with, what we've done is create a bunch of thought forms that relate to the past or the future and don't relate at all to the present. Hello, caller.
Hi, Lesley.
Hi, who am I talking to?
Lori.
Hello, Lori. How are you?
Good. You actually know me. This is an issue that was discussed a few weeks ago on your show about, it's like a issue around a guy who I felt rejected by. Like, first he led me on, and then I felt rejected by him. And so you had talked about what you saw around that at the time.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I've been doing all this healing work around that to do with my, growing up not feeling wanted and that sort of thing. But then there's still this tendency to understand why he did that, and then I feel like I kind of go back and forth, and I'm just trying to see where I'm at with this growth period.
Okay, sure. We'll take a look at this growth period and where you're at with it. So if you just relax, keep your eyes open, I'll tune in to you. Just bear with me while I do that. And listeners, I just go quiet a little bit because I need to tune into Laurie's energy before I can give her some information. Okay, Laurie, so let's just take a look at you and the growth period that you're in. So, goodness me, I think I will give you a bit of a healing. So, the first thing that I'll say is you, on the one hand, it looks like you're really at the very beginning of a new growth cycle, but it also looks like you kind of blasted your way through the last growth cycle. So it's kind of like, yeah, you've been doing some healing work, but you, and it might sound funny, but it looks like you kind of overdid it. And we'd say, well, how can we overdo healing? And it has to do with healing ourselves at a rate that is comfortable for the physical body. Because we can make massive changes as spirit. We can shift an enormous amount of energy in one go. But then what happens is the body has a response to that. And if we're not careful, we can overwhelm the body. And I'm seeing that that's what you did. You kind of said, right, I'm kind of determined. I'm going to really focus on healing myself. And then your body started feeling very upset. And the reason is that it just looks like it was dealing with the aftermath of the changes that you made as spirit. So it's almost like the difference between setting off a whole bunch of tiny little detonations and setting off an atom bomb. You know, it sort of it just looks like you really went for it, and then you overdid it for your body. And so now you've got the body recovering at the same time as you're starting to move into the new growth cycle. And I'm seeing that's why it's feeling so difficult for you right now. And so one of the things I would suggest is just being patient, giving the body time to catch up, and just being really kind and gentle and soothing to your body. Just really taking care of it, you know, whether it likes to have a lovely relaxing bath, feeding it good food and all of that, because that's what I'm seeing is the main thing. Now, I'm going to just take a look at the new growth cycle, and I might tell you some more about the one that you're working your way through as well. Mm-hmm. So let's see. Well, what you're moving out of and moving towards, it really looks like you really wanted to. It's about setting yourself free. Setting yourself free from past restrictions. It's almost like the difference between someone who's been in a kind of a prison formed by, you know, past experiences and their own beliefs, to just it really emerging into freedom. And so the new growth cycle, which is a very tiny rosebud right now. Listeners, you wonder why I'm talking about a rosebud. Laurie knows what I'm talking about, but yes. the way I read growth cycles is I use the symbol of a rose. So it's a tiny, tiny yellow rosebud, but that rosebud feels like freedom. It feels like release. It feels like no longer being tied to caring about what other people do, what other people think, and how other people judge. So all of those things that have sort of fettered you and bothered you in the past, it really is like you're saying, I really am done with this. I really am. It's not been working for me. Now, where you're at right now is, like I said, you've got the end of the old growth period and the beginning of the new growth period superimposed, and so it just looks like it's going to take a little time just for your body to catch up, and that's why I'm sort of advocating being really gentle and really kind, and you know, and so what I would say to you is, I want to say nothing's wrong. What's happened is what I explained to you. You went very enthusiastically into your self-healing, and you lit up a bunch of stuff that you were wanting to clear, and then the body went, oh my God.
Yeah, I could feel it. It was this awful feeling.
Yeah.
I kept feeling, yeah.
So let's
and then I'd
go
feel
on.
great the next day, and then I'd feel awful again the day after, and I was trying to understand what was happening.
Right, because often it will happen in waves as well. Well, let me just take a look at that. I'm going to give you a healing as well, just to help you clear some of what I was seeing. Yeah, it is. It's almost, you know, this is a funny analogy, but it's almost like energetic vomiting, you know? You know when you're sick and you're like, oh no, it's going to happen again, or I feel a bit better, no, it's almost like you were doing that, you know, and you were just bringing up waves of stuff to let go of. And so it's like you just set yourself the goal of really clearing out. So does this help you, Laurie?
Yeah, it does. There just still seems to be a need to understand why he did that. Like, if I had done something, maybe, like, I don't know if I moved into his space or something, or if he's just like that. I'm just kind of curious.
Well, didn't we last time talk about that? I seem to remember saying that you did move into his space. I can definitely look at it again, but I kind of remember that's part of what was his.
It was more came up was about like the unresolved past.
Right.
For me.
Oh.
I don't know if you looked at him too much. I was just kind of curious what he was trying to do.
Let's take a look. You probably don't want to say his first name on air.
Oh, Adrian.
Okay. All right. I'm actually looking in present time, and I'm just going to bring that relationship into present time. So, and then I'll, you wanted to know, well, what happened to make him move away from you at the time that he did? Yeah, it does. I mean, it does look like you moved into his space, and it looks like, your enthusiasm. It just was like too much too soon, and having. And just wanting to back off and get his space back. Because, it feels so uncomfortable if someone else's energy is in your space. It's so uncomfortable. and so that really is what it was.
Okay, great. And then what about, like, my question around activating the self-healing? You talked about that a few weeks ago. I'm doing things, like physical things that I feel are sort of outside, but from an energetic perspective, I thought there was something that I'm supposed to activate inside of me through some form of meditation or something.
Right, because that's right, and so you wrote to me about that, didn't you? And it was to do with loving yourself.
Yeah.
Well, here's a really, really simple meditation, and which is not going to have an overwhelming effect on you like some of the other techniques that if you go into it. So and literally it's just this. It's just, because you're working on loving yourself and not needing that external validation that keeps you trapped to what other people think of you. And so it's like, how do I plug in to that love that actually is who I am? Because you are a part of God. God is love, and therefore you are love. And so the energy center that we want to tune into is the heart center, right? And literally, just be grounded and centered and tune in to your heart center. And it may be that you can just see a small spark of light, or feel a small feeling of love in there. So just look for that, a spark of light, and focus on that light. Focus on that, and as you focus on that light and you give your attention to that light can expand. So allow the heart center to open and allow the light to expand. And you can sit and just allow your heart center to open more and more, and allow that light, that love, to just be radiating from it, and allow it to just fill your chest. Allow it to be as large as your entire body and your entire energy field, so that you are channeling that love and light through the heart center, and then you are flowing it through your entire system and bathing every cell in your body in that love. Every molecule, every portion of your space just being lightened up with that love. And so I would suggest that as a very simple meditation in self-love is tuning into the feeling of love in your heart, tuning into that light that's there and opening it up and allowing it to expand and just allowing yourself to feel it, experience it, and sending it to every cell in your body. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds great. I was doing it while you were.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's really helpful.
Good.
Thanks so much. That really helps clarify things for me.
Oh, you're really welcome, Laurie, and thank you for calling the show today.
You're welcome. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Love and light to you.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye. Bye.
You know, while you were talking to Laurie, something came to my mind that I learned a long time ago about questions and about calming a mind. And that 4 out of the 5 questions that we ask are factual questions. Like, say you had a car accident. How did it happen? Where did it happen? When did it happen? What happened? But the 5th one, why did it happen? That why question is such a hard question to ever really answer. Like, oh, did I make a mistake? Did they make a mistake? Was the road condition wrong? Did the car not run right? And so that why is such a difficult, especially in life issues. And we keep asking ourselves, why did this happen? Well, there's really no answer to that. So if you want to calm the mind, stop asking the why question.
Yeah, just let it go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's letting it go is very true. It's just stop asking why.
Yeah. Welcome back, listeners. You are tuned in to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. It's that time in the show, folks, where you can phone in with your questions. Well, Corey, in the absence of a caller, do we have an email question?
Yet.
What is it and who is it from?
It's from Melanie.
Melanie.
Melanie would like to have info on love life.
Info on love life.
I'm presuming it's her love life she's talking about.
I would expect that would be the case. So let me take a look. Okay, I am just tuning into you and looking at info on your love life. Well, this is going to sound mean. I don't mean it to, but I can see why you're asking, because I'm seeing that right now there is no love life, and that's why you're asking. So, let's take a look at why, if you are desiring this, it is not in your reality. So let's just take a look at that. So this is kind of interesting, Melanie, but I would love to have you on the other end of the phone because I would have some questions for you. But seeing as you're not there, I shall make some assumptions about the energy that I'm reading. I would bet that there is an X somewhere around. And when I say somewhere around, it might not be physically, but energetically there is an X. There is somebody who you've been in a relationship with in the past who is energetically hanging around. And it's like it's casting a cloud over you so that you are not being seen. You are not being seen. So there's you all lovely and bright and attractive, and you're not being seen because there's this veil of darkness, which is, hiding you. And so it's quite interesting. So very interesting. So let's see, how can we help you with this? Because usually I'm telling somebody about something within them that they can change, that usually it's a shift in a belief or a shift in an attitude. With you, it looks like your space is being invaded by an ex-partner. And it's kind of, and part of it is about owning your space. But I'm seeing that this is a very invasive person. And so, if you're listening and you are aware of who I'm talking about, then I would just think about what measures you can take to deal with this. And depending on whether it's a safe or unsafe situation for you, if it feels safe, you can talk to them and tell them to back off. If it feels unsafe in any kind of serious way, then you might be able to get help in having this person back off. And so really, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. It doesn't feel to me that there is anything specific about you that is causing an issue. It's some foreign energy. And see, what's happening is that anyone else coming into your vicinity, instead of seeing you, they're catching wind of this dark energy. And they're going, oh, I don't like the look of that. I'm going to back away. And they may not consciously know what they're doing, but unconsciously they're just tuning into, well, there's just something here that just doesn't feel pleasant, that just doesn't feel right. And they're associating it with you, even though it isn't you. And so really it comes down to clearing off the ex, is what I would say for you, Melanie. I hope that helps. Corey, come on, wake up. I haven't.
That helps Corey.
No, I said, I hope that helps. And then I looked at you and you seemed to be away with the fairies.
I'm right here. I'm listening to every word. You just made a really interesting transition there. I have a whatchamacallit from Stephanie. And Stephanie would like to know, I'm totally confused with my career decisions. I have 3 possible prospects. And wait till you hear our prospects. They're really interesting. And wondering what is the best long-term for me and my family, or if anything else not on the list is better. Police officer, flight attendant, or administrative assistant.
Okay. That's a good selection.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at that. For Steph. Okay, and she says police, flight attendant, administrative assistant. So police doesn't look like a possibility. And when she says, she say flight attendant.
Yes.
Okay, flight attendant. Well, out of the 3 of them, the admin assistant looks the most attainable and near-term prospect. I'm getting that the other 2 involved some training and are quite competitive to get into, whereas the admin assistant, it looks like you have some skills currently that would enable you to sort of plug and play into that role. And I'm also seeing that you don't tell us about your family and whether you've got young kids or not, but it looks like the admin assistant is most in alignment with having the balance with the family as well. It looks like the other 2 jobs would take up more of your energy. So that's my answer. So
that was quick.
Yeah, it was.
And I have a one from Madeline. And Madeline would like to know, this is a romance question, of course. Actually, there's a lot of romance questions. Romance. It's been 5 years since I've been alone. Was thinking of switching my energy vibration to romance. What do you think?
Okay. Let's see, Madeline, about this for you. Romance for you. Well, that looks like fun, Madeline. That looks like a fun and playful vibration for you. Yeah, go for it. I mean, really, it's your choice whether to play in that sandbox again, but it certainly looks like fun. And I think that that's a clue there, is for it to be fun and to allow it to be fun and to enter into it with an intention of having fun and enjoying. And if a long-term relationship comes out of it, it does, but not to go in there with expectations. Really, is to go in there with the intention of having fun, and then it looks like complete fun. So really, that's what I would say about that. Oh, they're short and sweet tonight. What's the next one?
Okay. Nancy. And Nancy wants to know, why am I... sorry. I apologize. The question just jumped out of my vision here. Oh, give me a second.
Maybe you're not supposed to ask it.
Well, okay. This is a question from Nancy. Correct. Why am I so terrified of relationships with men?
Oh. Okay. Let's look for you at that question. Because you had a very aggressive man in your life when you were a child. A very aggressive, violent man in your life when you were a child. And that set your expectation of men. That set your understanding of who men are and what they are. That you are wearing a filter laid down by the experience with that aggressive man that you, I would say it's a close family member, like a father figure. And you basically, what happens is that we learn from the adults around us when we're kids. We learn about the world, and you learn some things about men from that man by direct experience of what he was like, and you haven't let go of it. So when you are meeting men, you are looking through the filter of that little girl dealing with that very aggressive man. That is why you are terrified of relationships with men, because your body is carrying the fear of the little you when you were in that abusive, aggressive relationship with a man when you were a kid. And so, if you would like to shift that, then the way to do that is to really work on letting go of that pastime energy and really start picking apart those belief systems and releasing them as well. And you know what? You can do that by finding a mentor, somebody to work with, or a therapist or a counselor. Whichever way of doing it will work for you. You could do this on your own. I would suggest that this might be something you'd want to work with somebody helping you. So that's my answer to Nancy.
Good. I have a question.
Do you, Corey?
Yes, I do.
I'd love to answer it.
Would you? No, it's not about pizza.
Is it a trick question?
No, it's not a trick question. I have a question. I wouldn't do that to you.
All right, go ahead.
So I have a question. And my question is, why is it that at this point in my life, when I walk around and I see people, I'm constantly running into people that look exactly like people I knew from my past?
That's interesting, isn't it? I'd like to look at that. That's a very curious one. Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you look at the person and go, yes, that looks exactly like George. That
happened to me today when I went to the swimming pool, and I was driving down Lougheed Highway, And I saw we have a good friend called Carolee who lives on the island, and if you're listening, hello. But I saw a woman who looked. I was like, Carolee, what are you doing in Maple Ridge and you haven't told us? And it looked the absolute spitting image of her. Oh, okay. I will look at this question for you. So I'm tuning into Corey's energy and taking a look at this very interesting phenomenon. Well, one of the things that I'm seeing is it's just it's a mechanism that you have implanted in your matrix of reality to help you bring aspects of your past into present time. So it's like you're updating and letting go of some past time stuff, and you've just created a really fun and unusual way of doing it. Let's see if there's anything else to say about this. Give me an example of the last time it happened, if you can.
Last time. I could give you one. Actually, every time I look in the mirror, I see my father. Well, actually, one of the things that I've been seeing is, the relationship I had with my brother. I keep seeing my brother's energy actually in other people.
Right. Okay. Well, that's a different thing altogether.
That's different, yeah. But I can't remember the last person I saw that. Let's use Debbie. I saw Debbie, and she looks so much like Carolee as well. When we met her a couple of years, 3 or 4 years ago. That's one instance that I had. But I forget who it was, the last person I saw. And I looked at them and I went, my gosh, but it couldn't be because that person wouldn't look like that at this point in time.
Well, and the thing with your brother is I'm just...
I know that's different.
Well, and he's communicating with you basically
I
is
know
what he's
that.
doing.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, so brother aside.
But I couldn't give you a specific...
Yeah, no, you're just bringing relationships into present time, and with some of these people, it may be actually that they've passed on, and they're doing the same thing that your brother is doing. But in general, it's just a way of you triggering little pockets of bringing things into present time. That's what I'm reading.
I remember which one. It was Nearly Neil. He looked just like Neil Diamond.
Oh.
Okay, I just found it interesting. I forget where I was. It was at the auction the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking to somebody there, and somebody walked by me, and I just it's somebody I knew from the past, and I went, and not necessarily somebody that I knew, somebody that I could have run into, right? I think it's just that as you get older, you see so many people, or run into so many people that eventually you're gonna pull the same card every once in a while. Okay, I have a question from Rihanna, and Rihanna wants to know. This might be the same person we were just talking to. Rihanna wants to know, why am I finding it so hard to let go of my ex-boyfriend?
Oh, gosh, we're really on a theme this evening, aren't we? Okay. Hey, it's not Rihanna the singer, is it? Because she had a bit of a violent ex-boyfriend, so I hear. Okay, let's take a look. So, why is she finding it so hard to let go of her ex? Oh, well, with you, number one is you're afraid that it's like you're afraid that you won't be able to meet anybody else that you feel that way about. So you associate the feelings that you had for this man with as though they're exclusive to that man, and you couldn't feel that way about somebody else, and that's not true. Because what you felt for this man was love, passion, excitement, and it's absolutely possible for you to feel those things with many other people, actually. So that's the first thing. You're afraid that that's your only chance. That was your only chance. Number one. Number two. It looks as though there's something to do with some control stuff, and it looks like, again, just there's a pattern in your parental relationship, which is where one partner controls the other partner and the other partner kind of obeys. And I'm seeing that it looks like you may have tried that with this ex and it didn't work, and then that program within you got quite frustrated and tried harder to control him, and it didn't work, and that's part of why it didn't work out. And I'm just seeing that you learned some ways of relating, again, from when you were a kid, from your parents, that you might want to look at shifting. So those are the two pieces of information for you, Rihanna.
Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to another Unlocking Your Truth podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips. For more information, go to our website at drlesleyphillips.com. That's drlesleyphillips.com, where you can ask questions or send her an email, and there's many free gifts on there for you as well. Come back again.